Marco awoke to the gentle lapping of the Thames against the banks, a sound that had become a comforting lullaby over the years. As dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, he stepped into his weathered boat, feeling the familiar sway beneath his feet. The iconic Tower Bridge loomed above, its ancient stones whispering secrets of the past. Each morning ritual brought a sense of peace. The calls of seagulls echoed around him, while the rhythm of his fishing line cast into the water felt almost meditative. With every cast, he reflected on the solitude he cherished, the simple life which transcended the bustle of London above. Yet, as the sun rose higher, a flicker of curiosity stirred within. What stories lay hidden beneath the surface of the river? What echoes of lives once lived lingered in the depths, waiting for someone like him to discover them? Today was no ordinary day. The river had secrets to share. The sound of the River Thames becomes a comforting symphony as Marco casts his net into the water, the gentle lapping of the waves mingling with distant echoes of the bustling city above. Each dawn, the river sings a familiar tune, a rhythmic heartbeat that pulses through Marco's veins. The calls of seagulls herald the morning, drawing his attention to the weight of time, an unseen current that connects him to the stories hidden beneath the surface. Yet today, as he listens intently, there's a hint of something more profound in the air. The whispers seem to rise from the depths, beckoning, like faint memories struggling to break free. Marco closes his eyes, allowing the tranquil sounds to envelop him, reminding him that beneath the calm exterior lies a history rich with love and loss. The tranquil routine of fishing becomes more than just a daily task. It evolves into a portal to the past, hinting at the mysteries that await discovery. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Marco settled into his daily fishing routine, the gentle sway of his boat matching the rhythm of the River Thames. He cast his line with practiced ease, reveling in the peaceful sounds surrounding him, the soft rustle of the water, the faint cry of distant seagulls, and the echo of footsteps above on the bridge. Today, however, felt different, as if the river itself held its breath, guarding secrets just beneath the surface. With his mind adrift in quiet contemplation, Marco felt the familiar tug on his line. He reeled in the catch, but as he pulled his net aboard, surprise washed over him. Among the usual flotsam, he spotted a tarnished locket, its surface gleaming faintly in the sunlight. Curiosity ignited within him, and as he held the locket in his palm, the questions began to swirl. Whose story was tied to this relic, and what whispers lingered in the depths of the Thames? As Marco held the tarnished locket in his hand, he marveled at its intricate design, worn smooth by time and tide. Carefully, he opened the clasp to reveal a faded photograph of a young woman, her gentle smile captured forever in the delicate frame. Next to her, a handwritten note, the ink barely legible, hinted at a love story lost to the waters of the Thames. Sitting in the stillness of his boat, he envisioned the life she once lived, the dreams she might have harbored as she stood at the river's edge, perhaps waiting for a sailor's return. The air thickened with emotion, and Marco could almost hear echoes of laughter and whispers of promises lost in the currents. As the wind picked up, carrying the salty scent of the river, Marco felt a profound connection to this unknown woman, a thread linking their lives across time, urging him to unravel the secrets hidden beneath the surface. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Marco found himself standing in the local archives the following day, surrounded by the dusty remnants of history. The faint smell of aged paper and ink filled the air as he pored over old maps and documents, desperate to uncover the story behind the tarnished locket. A local historian, an elderly gentleman with sparkling eyes and an enchanting way of speaking, approached him. He began to recount tales of those who lived under the Tower Bridge during the war, stories woven with love, heartbreak, and bravery. Marco listened intently as the historian spoke of couples who pledged their love amidst chaos, their dreams often drowned by life's harsh realities. Each narrative painted vibrant images in Marco's mind, compelling him to imagine their joys and sorrows. With each story, he felt the weight of the river's whispers grow stronger, drawing him deeper into the mysteries of the past. Marco returned to the archives, eager to delve deeper into the histories that the Tower Bridge had witnessed. The historian, an elderly gentleman with a twinkle of knowledge in his eyes, invited him to a cluttered room filled with dusty books and faded photographs. As he laid out stories of the bridge's past, tales of couples seeking refuge, families weathering storms, and the heartbreaking farewells during wartime, Marco felt a profound connection to those who had stood where he stood now. Each anecdote painted a vibrant picture of life beneath the bridge, laughter mingling with sorrow, love growing amidst chaos. Marco's heart ached for the souls who once fished these waters, their struggles entwined with his own. The weight of history pressed upon him, and he began to see his solitude not as a void, but as part of a larger narrative, a tapestry woven from countless lives that had intertwined with the river's flow. As Marco settled into his familiar spot under Tower Bridge, the night deepened around him, casting shadows that danced with the flickering glow of lantern light. The river's whispers grew louder, a symphony of ancient voices echoing through the stillness. With each passing moment, Marco felt a magnetic pull toward the water, as if the Thames were sharing its secrets, nudging him to listen closely. In the solitude of his fishing boat, tuned to the lull of the waves, he leaned over the side, peering into its depths. Faint murmurs seemed to thread through the air, coaxing him into a realm where time blurred. The stories flowed like the current, weaving together tales of lost sailors, lovers' reunions, and long-forgotten dreams. Through the veil of night, Marco sensed a presence growing stronger, a longing, a yearning. The river demanded his attention, urging him to forge a connection with the past that danced just beneath the surface. The moon hung low over the Thames, casting an ethereal glow that transformed the river's surface into a shimmering tapestry of silver and shadow. As Marco sat in his weathered boat, the familiar whispers grew louder, wrapping around him like a cool breeze. It was then that he saw her, a faint silhouette emerging from the depths of the water, her presence both comforting and unnerving. The woman from the photograph stood before him, her eyes shimmering with unspoken sorrow. "Marco," she breathed, her voice blending with the lapping waves, "I have awaited your recognition." Her story spilled forth, a tale of love intertwined with longing, a sailor lost to the sea, and promises shattered by fate. As she recounted her bittersweet memories, Marco felt a connection deep within him, a knot tying their lives together across the river of time, urging him to listen, to understand the echoes of love that lingered in the currents. The whispers from the river enveloped Marco as he sat in his boat, a blanket of twilight settling over the Thames. He felt the pull of the woman's story deep within him, each word resonating like a song from a distant shore. Love, loss, and the ache of longing filled his thoughts, intertwining with his own solitude. The image of her smiling face in the locket haunted him, stirring emotions he had long buried beneath the murky waters of his heart. As the night deepened, he grappled with an unsettling truth. Her spirit had crossed into his life, weaving a connection that transcended time and space. Marco was no longer merely a fisherman. He was now a keeper of stories, a vessel for memories long forgotten. The boundaries separating his life from hers blurred, and he felt an unshakable bond forming, uniting their fates beneath the moonlit sky, across the currents of time. The river sang louder, a poignant reminder that love, enduring and ethereal, knows no constraints. As dawn's first light crested the horizon, Marco found himself in deep contemplation. The river sparkled softly, reflecting his emotions as he prepared for the tribute. He retrieved the tarnished locket, feeling its weight in his palm, a tangible link to the woman he had come to know through whispers. Driven by a newfound purpose, he gathered the materials for his lantern, a delicate glass vessel, threads of twine, and the locket, which he caressed with reverence. Each item symbolized a promise, the promise of remembrance and love that transcended time. With a heart full of gratitude and sadness, he envisioned the moment he would release it into the Thames, sending the locket and the essence of her story adrift on the water. This act felt more significant than mere ritual. It was a moment of connection, an acknowledgement that the stories of old were alive, waiting to be honored in the river's embrace. Marco stood on the banks of the Thames, the night enveloping him in a shroud of stillness. The moonlight danced upon the water, illuminating his quiet determination. With a steady hand, he placed the lantern on a small raft, its flickering flame casting elongated shadows against the ancient stones of Tower Bridge. He could hear the soft hum of the city beyond, a stark contrast to the intimate whispers of the river that had grown increasingly clear in his mind. As he prepared for the tribute, Marco took a moment to breathe in the cool night air, feeling the weight of the locket in his pocket, a tangible connection to the woman whose spirit now lingered with him. The world felt suspended, each breath echoing in anticipation. With a final glance at the photo tucked inside the tarnished locket, Marco set the raft gently adrift, watching as the lantern began its voyage downstream, carrying with it all the hopes and memories that transcended time. Marco stood at the edge of the Thames, heart pounding as he cupped the flickering flame of the lantern in his hands. The gentle lapping of the water echoed like a heartbeat, urging him on. He took a deep breath, a mixture of salty air and the weight of memories flooding his senses. Slowly, he released the lantern into the water, watching as it danced atop the surface, casting a warm, golden glow in the cool night. As the lantern drifted further from him, it carried not just the tarnished locket, but the essence of love and loss, bridging the past with the present. The flickering light mirrored his own hopes, the wish for connection beyond time and space. With each ripple, Marco felt a sense of release, as if the spirit of the woman smiled down upon him, thanking him for honoring her story. In that moment, under the expansive sky, he understood the profound power of remembrance. As the lantern glided further into the Thames, Marco felt a profound stillness enveloping him. The soft glow danced on the water's surface, casting shimmering reflections that seemed to whisper the histories of countless souls who had come before him. With each passing moment, he pondered the threads that linked his own life to those who had ever stood at the water's edge, yearning for connection, for remembrance. The bridge above celebrated their stories, a steadfast guardian of love and loss. In this quiet, sacred space, Marco realized that every fisherman is not merely a harvester of the river's bounty, but also a custodian of narratives that flow like the currents beneath them. As dawn approached, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, he felt an awakening within himself. The weight of solitude began to lift, giving way to a sense of purpose. He was destined to be a storyteller, sharing the whispers of the past with all who would listen.